Star Wars, one of the, if not the greatest movie franchise of all time. It's been around since the 1970s, starting with the original trilogy, aka episodes 4 through 6, or if you want to be a nerd, A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. Despite the rather controversial prequel and sequel trilogies, I think most can agree that this series is primarily good and supplies great stories and characters. Now, please keep in mind that this is not to be treated as an official review for Star Wars or any of the following media for that matter. I'm just a random chick on the internet trying to convince you, random viewer, to watch it by highlighting the strengths of the series and by also acknowledging the weak points and why you should put them aside to watch what is truly one of the greatest franchises out there. Also, just to be clear, I will not be directly hating on any movies. I will not be talking about The Last Jedi. Sorry guys, I don't have the strength. I can't. I'm not strong enough. However, after I conclude my points in Section 7, I will add a Section 8 that has my personal reviews and rankings of the films. I will also give a small summary as to why I feel good or bad about a certain movie, and honestly, that's the closest you're getting me to talking about The Last Jedi. Anyway, let's get into why you should watch Star Wars. From the mainline films to the smaller animated and live action shows, Star Wars has something for everyone, and that's what people love so much about it. For this video, we will be primarily looking at the original trilogy, The Mandalorian, and The Clone Wars. To avoid getting into the controversial subjects, we will not be going in depth about the prequels or sequels. This will also save a lot of time. I will just be mentioning them briefly to back up my points, okay? So, you're probably wondering why this random girl on the internet who sounds like a prepubescent Justin Bieber is telling you to watch Star Wars. Well, it's simple really. It's very, very good. The original trilogy gives one of the best stories ever told, and it's supposed to be a dumb movie about laser-wielding, telekinetic weirdos in outer space. Not only is it fun and action-packed, but it takes the time to flesh out its characters and develop them over all 3 movies. Each character is consistent and very different from the other, but honestly, that's what makes them so lovable. They play off of each other really well, and the relationship that grow over the course of just 3 movies is honestly just astounding. Luke, Leia, Han, Obi-Wan, Chewie, 3PO, all these characters are iconic. Come on, even you have heard of them and you haven't even watched Star Wars yet, okay? Even you, random viewer, knows about the twist in Empire because it's just that good. The first movie is so good that they decided to do it again for The Force Awakens just to remind you how Star Wars feels. And while we're on the subject, let's talk about the plot and story. The story is really simple. Bad guys versus good guys, trying to save the galaxy, whatever. It takes that story and adds emotional value to it. Like Luke seeing himself in Vader, training with Yoda, who is a Jedi Master even though he's like tiny and green. Do or do not, there is no try. Come on, even you've heard that one too. All these messages add an emotional depth to both the characters and the story as a whole. And those were free examples used from the same movie that happened within half an hour. Do you believe me yet when I say the messages and characters are pretty strong? Now, Return of the Jedi is commonly seen as the movie that's just kind of meh. The beginning is a little dumb, but in a fun way, and the Ewoks are kind of stupid. But let's face it, the last hour of this movie that switches back and forth from a struggle on Endor to the Death Star with Luke and Vader. Oh, these 2 stories playing out together are just so I cannot stress enough how good the emotional payoff is at the end of this movie. You probably know what happens, but in case you don't, I won't spoil it. But the dialogue and music moves everything to a different level. And it goes without saying that Star Wars, oh my god, the score is just absolute perfection. Now listen, I don't say that often. I don't say something is perfect often, but just listen to it. It's beautiful. The only thing I call perfect is Blade Runner 2049, okay? Like, seriously. And whether you like the prequels or not, the prequels have the best music in the series. But like I said, I'll only be mentioning the prequels or sequels to back up my points, so don't get excited and expect it too often. Okay, guys. Yes, we can do it. We can talk about Darth Vader. Darth frickin' Vader is probably the best villain out there. You know how everyone loves to hate Thanos because he's an emotionally complex villain? Yeah? Well, Mr. Lord Vader did it first, folks. And that's not to hate on Thanos. I love Thanos too. It's just a joke, guys. Please don't hate me. In the first movie, you can feel his power, and although there were technical and budgetary concerns at the time, he was extremely intimidating without having to twirl his laser sword and do vape tricks. His connection to Obi-Wan, which we'll talk about more when I get into the Clone Wars, is felt through actions and small dialogue, which is absolutely genius. We can feel the history between these two even though there's not much exposition to go off of. This is amazing. Darth Vader has such a strong arc that makes sense. It's not pulled from nowhere like a lot of movies today, unfortunately, try to do. It's fought out, and his actions in the entire series hints towards his fate in that Rogue One scene, baby. Okay, I may have gotten a little carried away there. Sorry, I really like Star Wars, okay guys? Anyway, so to summarize, you should start with the original trilogy. If older movies scare you, trust me, these are good older movies, especially since the special effects still hold up today. There were a few things I didn't really talk about, like the Empire and Han and Leia's relationship, but this is mostly to save time and also so these great things can surprise you when you watch it. You're watching these movies. I was trying to convince you before, but now you have no choice. You're watching these movies. Watch them. Watch them. The Mandalorian. Now, I am by no means a professional critic. I just like to review things based on how I feel about them, which is what I think I just demonstrated about how I went off on Darth Vader. But I think I could put my big brain cap on when I say The Mandalorian is really, really good, both from a subjective and objective standpoint. Now, I'm sure you've heard this before, but I know people who don't even watch or particularly like Star Wars, but love this show. In case you don't know what The Mandalorian is, it's an 8-episode live-action TV show following the adventures of a bounty hunter. If you don't know what a Mandalorian is, that's okay. Ever watched the OT so you don't know what happened to the Empire? Also okay. It's a standalone show. You don't need to know anything about the movies to watch and enjoy it. The main character is amazing and just so cool. Oh my god, he's such a standout character, and although he's really good at what he does, he still needs help sometimes and even straight up loses, and that makes the stakes high. This also makes him a stronger character. Speaking of strong characters, the side characters are great too, like IG-11 is just... Each character has a solid personality and the dialogue is pretty good. Overall, it's a great show, and if you're looking for a fun show of good characters, this is a perfect show for you, okay? And I realize I'm saying fun a lot, but let's face it, the easiest word to describe Star Wars with is fun. It's like just a fun space adventure featuring amazing music. Seriously, the theme is so good, and the cutest space creature out there at the moment, you have no excuse. Watch it. I will donate my Disney Plus subscription to you if I have to. Watch it. Watch it. Watch it! The Mandalorian not speaking to you that much? Well, maybe you prefer The Clone Wars, an animated show taking place between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. So yes, this is technically a part of the prequels. Instead of watching the prequels, watch The Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith, and that's really all you need. The only thing you'd be confused on is Darth Maul. That's not really a spoiler. Come on, everyone knows he's alive, so good enough. Anyway, The Clone Wars is 7 seasons long, so yeah, it's pretty long, but it's also pretty worth it. It's one of those shows that grows up with you, so while you watch seasons 1 through 3, imagine you're like 12 again, each season giving you a year. Truthfully, seasons 1 and 2 are not nearly as bad as a lot of people make them out to be. Rookies in season 1 is honestly one of the best episodes in the entire show, and it gives the audience a feel of how the show will make the clones truly characters. They're more than just disposable tools, they're people. Individuals, even if they all look the same. And that's just the clones. The Clone Wars makes Anakin and Obi-Wan some of the best characters in Star Wars. Ahsoka is an amazing addition, and I really hope those rumors about her getting her own show are true. Now, more on Anakin and Obi-Wan since I said I'd talk about it more here. Without getting into spoilers, the relationship between them is so fleshed out and handled with such great care that it feels so good. Obi-Wan is made into such a good character, especially with the additions of Satine and Darth Maul. Giving Obi-Wan a love interest with Satine adds a new layer between Anakin and Obi-Wan that really deepens their bond. So, I'll talk about this scene, but it is slightly spoilerish, but I won't be giving away any plot points, okay? It's just like a detail. So it's not really a spoiler, I guess. Season 7, Episode 9, Old Friends Not Forgotten. Obi-Wan was talking about Satine, and talking about how he wouldn't let his feelings cloud his judgment, and the camera just shows Anakin's face looking extremely disappointed, as though you can hear the inner conflict in his mind, thinking about Padme, who, if you don't know, is Anakin's secret wife. And come on, that's not a spoiler. You know that. I was just explaining who she was to be nice. Point is, there is so much detail in this show, and that's just one example off the top of my head. Anakin looking disappointed in his master makes sense and lines up with his character. And you know what else it does? It shows a lot more of a realistic fall to the dark side. And it gives him another reason to have little faith in the Jedi. Obi-Wan, the man who raised Anakin, is pushing his feelings aside even if they could help in the moment. Now, there's another reason why this scene is so significant, but it's actually the main reason why I'm mentioning it, but I'll explain that in another video. I can't go into it without saying spoilers, so I'll make a video explaining the beauty of just that one scene. Come back to me when we finish Clone Wars, that video should be done by then. Now, let's get back on topic. Obi-Wan describes Anakin as a good friend, which is kind of questionable when you watch the prequels, but when you watch the Clone Wars and get that expanded view, you see how both characters have so much more than you first thought. Anakin gets a Padawan. His biggest weakness is his attachment, and he gets a Padawan, someone he will eventually have to let go. And his struggle is just so well executed, especially in the last 4 episodes of Season 5 and the last 2 of Season 3. Giving the 2 main characters of the series more people to connect with really expands their character and gives them development you couldn't even begin to imagine. How does this all relate to Anakin and Obi-Wan's relationship? Simple. Each character connects them. Satine being a love interest connects Obi-Wan's internal conflict with Anakin's. Anakin having a Padawan and struggling with teaching and attachment mirrors Obi-Wan's struggles with Anakin. They have real conflicts, and because they're friends, they play off of each other really well, which makes not only Revenge of the Sith more enjoyable, but to a certain extent, even A New Hope. You want to know why I personally like Clone Wars so much? Because of the storytelling. The stories are just put where they fit, and normally those stories are pretty good. There are a few that don't quite hit the mark, but for the most part, the themes and stories told are beautiful. Anything between Darth Maul and Obi-Wan is amazing. The Mortis arc, Umbara arc, Siege of Mandalore arc, there are my personal favorites, and oh my god, Mortis is just so unique and gives a deeper understanding of the Force and who Anakin is. Umbara is Umbara, and Siege is one of the best finales in TV that I have ever seen, if not the best. The last 5 minutes of this show is probably the best scene in any TV show out there. It's just that good. That powerful. Still don't believe me when I say it's good? You know what? Fine. Ignore me. You want to know how you can prove it? Watch it yourself. There's nothing more I can tell you without getting into spoilers. Like, seriously, there's physically nothing more I can tell you. Like, it is just so much story that I'm trying to leave out. So then it's a surprise, and then you cry with the rest of the fandom because we're all crying over the clones and the characters and Ahsoka and Anakin and Obi-Wan. You get what I mean. Seriously, there's nothing more I can tell you without getting into spoilers, and I really don't want to do that. Clone Wars can either be dark and heartbreaking or fun and happy. Whichever route they take it, most of the time, it's really, really good. And the best part is, you can watch the show in any order you want. You can watch it as it's aired, or chronologically, or you can just skip around to the episodes that seem the most interesting to you. But definitely check out Ambush, Rookies, and the Ryloth arc in Season 1. Those are all amazing stories, and they're in the first season, which is considered the worst season. And keep in mind, not every episode is amazing. There are some bad episodes and arcs, but in the grand scheme of things, the good arcs overpower the bad ones by a lot. So please, just read the descriptions when you're watching them, see what episodes seem interesting, and remember that each season gets better. My favorite season personally is either Season 4 or Season 5. Those two are just so good. And even the end of Season 3 is just fantastic. I mean, really, you had the Mortis arc, you had the Citadel, you had Padawan Lost. I mean, wow, those are just amazing series. But anyway, honestly, just watch it. Seriously. It couldn't hurt. I mean, you can try it and maybe you won't enjoy it as much, but it seriously couldn't hurt. I mean, for me personally, besides the Umbrella Academy, Clone Wars is my favorite show. So please just give it a shot. Check it out. For me, please. Do it for my heart. I mean, I'm having heart problems right now. So, not literally. This is just to convince you to watch it. So, I'm having heart problems. So, if you watch it, all my heart problems will be cured. You know? Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so please just check it out for my health, okay? You now have to. I will donate Disney Plus to you. I swear to God. Please just watch it. Please. It's my favorite show. Please just watch it. The finale. You know, I'm gonna stop rambling now. Let's get on to the controversies. Now, let's be honest. Most people know about the controversies surrounding the prequels and sequels, but should they hold you back? No. No, they really shouldn't. The prequels can be fun, but so can the sequels. I don't want to get into my opinions on them until section 8, but just know that I think you could potentially like not only one, but both of these trilogies. Neither of them are so bad that you can't find enjoyment from them. If you're looking for dumb action, go for the sequels, particularly Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker. Looking for something to laugh at that eventually cracks into a darker, but still hilarious movie? Watch the prequels, particularly Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. The point is, don't let a few misses strike you out. People like to say Disney Star Wars isn't good, but Disney Star Wars also brought us Rogue One, the finale of Clone Wars, The Mandalorian, and even Rebels. These are all generally considered good. Whether or not I agree with that, we'll get into another time. But for now, I'm convincing you to watch Star Wars, dang it, so watch Star Wars. Don't strike out yet, you only have 2 strikes. Dive in and hit a home run. Okay, I've played softball for 9 years, and I thought that would make sense, but it doesn't, so ignore me. Pretty much, the controversial movies like The Last Jedi don't matter at the end of the day because you still have so many other movies and shows and games and books and graphic novels and legends to choose from that are just so much better. Trust me, the controversies are not worth it. Just enjoy Star Wars, please. Okay guys, it's time to address the elephant in the room. Let's talk about the reason why a lot of people don't want to get involved with Star Wars. The fan base. On all different social media platforms, the comments and reviews are all scattered. A lot of times, full-out arguments and fights break out over the smallest things. Now, most of these are in regard to the prequels and sequels, which is why I'm putting this section right under the controversy section. But anyway, let's just break this into small little parts, shall we? Let's start with part 1, the hardcore fans. Now, I don't know about you, but I haven't met that many hardcore Star Wars fans. I wouldn't consider myself like a complete die-hard fan, but I do watch it a lot, and I've read a few legends and books. I pretty much try to pick up one thing from each side of the spectrum. But apparently, all that is thrown down the gutter because I enjoyed Rise of Skywalker. Listen man, I don't like the sequels as much as the next guy, but it's still Star Wars. I despise the prequels and sequels equally, but I still go back and watch them all the time. Why? Because it's Star Wars. Stop sucking the joy out of everything. Star Wars is fun. I just want to see laser swords and blasters going pew pew, dang it. Okay, back on track. I don't like the story or characters of either trilogy, but Rise of Skywalker, Revenge of the Sith, the last half an hour of Attack of the Clones, and The Force Awakens are fun as heck, man. I can go back and rewatch them just to laugh and have a good time. I want to clarify once again, I don't like these movies. I just find them to be fun popcorn movies to just relax and not think too deeply about. Now, I know what you're thinking. What does this have to do with the fan base and hardcore fans? Well, I'm glad you asked. I got told by a hardcore fan, who was actually my friend at the time, that I can't be a serious fan of Star Wars if I liked Rise of Skywalker. I'm sorry, what? Now, just for context, this was on Snapchat, and I posted saying that The Rise of Skywalker was not nearly as bad as everyone made it out to be. Now, do I still stand by that opinion? No, but I still think it's a stupid fun movie. Story-wise, I think it's the worst Star Wars movie ever made. Like, geez, I'd rather watch Phantom Menace if I was watching for the story, and I still don't know what the plot of that movie is. Point is, even though I clarified like 5 times that I think it sucks if you're looking for anything other than dumb action, he still got all angry and upset with me. When I called him out for being jerk, he said he wasn't actually mad and tried to spin it on me for getting offended. Again, this makes no sense. I'm sorry, buddy. You were saying that I'm not a serious fan of Star Wars for liking Star Wars. Are you for real right now? Why would I not be upset by that? We weren't even friends for that long beforehand. He probably had no clue I even liked Star Wars. So why is he trying to tell me what I can and can't like? That makes no sense. And honestly, and thankfully, that's my worst experience with a hardcore fan, but the point is, there are 2 sides of the spectrum. There are some hardcore fans that are absolute monsters who correct you at every turn, or You have the hardcore fans that still tell casual fans to shut up when they try to say that Baby Yoda technically isn't Baby Yoda. Hey, look at that, I mentioned casual fans. It's almost like I was trying to set up a transition or something. So hardcore fans are 50-50 from what I've seen. Now let's talk about casual fans. Hardcore fans either love all movies or hate one so much that they hate you for liking it. So how about the casual fans? What are they like? Well, they're the worst. So that's all I need to say about casual fans. Let's move on to... Got you. I'm just joking. Casual fans aren't that bad, in all seriousness. The fanbase has a tendency to be toxic, sure, but that shouldn't stop you from watching this series, trust me. Ignoring the toxic part of the fanbase might be difficult, but seriously, just don't go into the comic sections on Instagram and you should be fine. That's where the worst of it is, to be completely honest. Or at least from what I've seen, it's mostly on Insta. But we haven't talked about the most important group yet. You! Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm guessing half of you watching this, if not more, have already watched Star Wars. You guys are just watching this to see if you agree with me, or you just really like Star Wars and want to see another fan praise it. However, to whoever here has never watched Star Wars before, welcome! I'm sure you've heard a lot about the movies and fans, and I know this is late in the video to be saying this, but you know, better late than never, right? I apologize for being a little unstructured. If you look at my channel, this is like my 5th video in a year, and it's by far my most complex one, so I apologize again since I haven't exactly figured things out yet. But anyway, this section is about to be about the new fans, not me, so as many people who are new to a form of media, they're confused. I get it, I would be too. Being told by some weirdo on the internet who can't even structure herself properly about like why you should watch Star Wars is probably a little overwhelming, especially at first, but I promise it will all be worth it. The new fans are normally pretty nice, mostly since they have no clue what's going on, so they don't really want to embarrass themselves. But again, that's okay. It's okay to be new to something. People like me want to introduce you to something we think will make you smile, or laugh, or make you come away with some lasting feelings, something like that. And overall, new fans are honestly pretty chill. Some are unnecessarily rude, saying stuff like, Star Wars is dumb, even if they've never watched it or only watched one movie, and it happens to be Phantom Menace or The Last Jedi. But I think it's time to start our conclusion. How about that? Let's just move around. And stick around to Section 8 to get my personal rankings of the films and an actual review of each movie. I'll give each movie a spot and number rank, so I'm curious to see what you think. So please do stick around, stay a while, get a cup of tea or whatever. You know what? Let's just move on to the conclusion before I end up making a fool of myself. Ugh. Star Wars is just such a fun franchise. I don't mean to repeat myself, but it really is just so emotional and fun, and it really has something for everyone. There's a character for you in this series, I can promise you that. There's so much love and care given to most of these movies and TV shows, and it really is something that you can enjoy. Like emotional movies with great characters, the original trilogy is for you. Like fight scenes and great music, the prequels are for you. Like dumb action movies and good visuals, the sequels are for you. Each trilogy has its pros and cons. It's about finding what you prefer. And I know it seems like I've been throwing shade at the prequels and sequels, but the truth is, I enjoy both. I just like Star Wars. So don't worry about other people hating on you for liking something. Just give it a shot. If someone gives you sass for liking something, they're not worth your time anyway, and come get me. I'll beat them up for you. Don't worry. Overall, the games, TV shows, books, graphic novels, and movies are all just amazing. Man, that's a handful to say. And what a time to be a Star Wars fan. Everything is slowly improving. We've gotten quite a few good things from Disney Star Wars recently, like the Clone Wars, The Mandalorian, and Jedi Fallen Order. I mean, really, come on guys, Disney Star Wars hasn't been horrendous. We had 2 weak movies, Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, but what about the free TV shows we got? The good game, and a surprisingly getting better game. What about the free fun movies? Seriously, 2 movies that are really not that good shouldn't detract you from the bigger picture. Do I think Disney is doing a great job? Well, I didn't say that either, but the point is, guys, please don't let a movie or 2 that doesn't hit the mark ruin Star Wars for you. And that goes to both old and new fans. Anyway, thank you for watching this long rant, review, persuasive essay, I don't know. I hope you stick around to hear my rankings of the films. If not, then thank you for watching this far, and I hope to see you soon. consider subscribing if you want more content like this, and follow my Twitter or Instagram if you have any questions for me. I answer as many DMs as possible, or at least I try to. Now, let's get into my raw opinions. I don't think I'm going to go into spoilers, so if you're a new fan, you can watch that too. But anyway, let's just get right into my opinions. Okay, I know the solid 60 to 70% of you watching this are actually already Star Wars fans, and I know that you guys will immediately want to know how I rank the other films, so let's get this over with, shall we? Number 11, Phantom Menace. I'm sorry, I just don't like this movie. I'd rather pour bleach into my eyes than have to sit through this entire movie again. I can watch the last 15 minutes for the mole fight, but other than that, thanks. I hate it. 2 out of 10. Speaking of 10, number 10, Attack of the Boys. The love story is disgusting. The only love story that gives Twilight a run for its money, and that's coming from me. I hate Twilight, okay? Disappointing movie, the characters are weak and have no real arc, and the plot is extremely stupid. 3.5 out of 10. Number 9, The Last Jedi. Sorry, I can't be that generous with this movie. I don't like it. It's stupid. I respect Johnson for trying something different with a Star Wars movie, but I think he tried way too much in one movie and shafted some good characters in favor of a cool element or scene. It's not horrible, but it's far from good. 4 out of 10. Number 8, Rise of Skywalker. I may have enjoyed this movie, but my God, just thinking about the story makes me want to die. But it is a dumb action movie that's easy to enjoy, so it gets spot number 8. Maybe a little generous, but it's really just kind of there. 4.5 out of 10. Number 7, Solo. Now we're getting into the actual good ones. Solo is actually pretty solid. If you're looking for a fun movie to watch with cool action scenes and admittedly poor lighting and interesting decisions, this is the movie for you. I saw it once and had fun, but I don't remember much about it, so I give it a solid 6 out of 10. Now, number 6, people are probably going to dislike me for this. Revenge of the Sith. I debated putting this at 7, but quite frankly, I also have rewatched Revenge of the Sith more than Solo. Maybe it's for the gross dialogue, or maybe it's because it's kind of entertaining? To be perfectly honest, it's not a horrible movie by any means, but I don't think it's that good either. I think it's pretty okay. The beginning and end are pretty solid, even solid 7 or 8 out of 10, but the middle is just so messy and stupid that it drains the life out of you. So no, prequel lovers, I don't just dislike the prequels because they have bad dialogue. I dislike them because of the poor characters and messy plots, and the fall to the dark side for Anakin is really only eh. Honestly, I don't think it's as bad as people say, but I don't think it's as good either. Oh, and I have to give credit where credit is due. The music in this movie is easily the best in the entire saga. I give Revenge of the Senate a 6.5 out of 10. Number 5, Return of the Jedi. Okay guys, these top 5 are the really good ones. These movies are just so mwah. Oh, so amazing. I love them so much. Yes, I know 2 sequels are going to be in the top 5, but guys, come on, they're not that bad. Oh, man. Return of the Jedi just has such a good ending with great character moments. It's definitely the weakest in the original trilogy, but guys, hear me out. It's really fun, and even though it's dumb, it knows when to be serious, and those moments are the best in the entire franchise. And before you say that the prequels are fun and dumb, I shouldn't hate them. Keep in mind that unlike the prequel movies, 1 and 2, that I don't like, this movie has great characters and an easy to understand plot with great messages and really powerful moments. Not too much more to say about this movie, so I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Number 4, Rogue One. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I really like this movie. You know how for a lot of people they would say something like, Phantom Menace is their guilty pleasure of the Star Wars franchise? Yeah, well, this movie is mine. Now, let me tell you a funny story. The first time I saw this movie, halfway through it, I left to go to the bathroom and was really disappointed since I wasn't really enjoying it that much. And oh baby, the last third hits and you're in for a ride. The biggest problem with this movie for me was the protagonist, Jin. I actually like the other characters like Kay and Cassian, but the weakest part of this movie is definitely the characters. Jin just doesn't have any motivation that makes sense, and I really don't remember much about her character other than she's tough. I don't think this movie is perfect. There's admittedly a lot of dumb stuff, but the good parts make up for it since the good parts are just really good. Also, the Empire is so intimidating in this movie that I was scared of them in the theater. And honestly, I rarely get scared in the theater. So that's pretty impressive that the Empire was so well executed in this film that I was scared of them. Again, the characters are pretty weak, and I can think of a million different ways they could have been handled better. But honestly, I still really like this movie. Now, I know what you're thinking. What about the prequels? You didn't like the characters in the prequels, so how come this movie is so high up on your list? For starters, stop using whataboutism. It's really annoying. We're talking about Rogue One, not the prequels. And second of all, sure, let's go down that hole. The dialogue in this movie doesn't make me want to claw my own eyes out. That's a start. And the visuals are also the best in the saga. The action is also a lot better executed, and I don't know, I kind of like the fact that the only Force wielder in this movie is Vader, and he's barely used except for the last scene, and that's not a spoiler. We all have seen the last scene. Search your feelings, new Star Wars fan. You know it to be true. Everyone has seen it. Anyway, other than the weak characters, I think this movie is solid. The first two halves aren't as bad as I remember, and I even find myself enjoying them, and those visuals are just so good. I'm sorry guys, I'm a sucker for good camera work. It's what I want to do with my life, so I'm a little biased there. Solid movie, 7 out of 10. Number 3, The Force Awakens. I know you guys just want to see if I put Empire as 1 or 2, but we have to talk about this movie first. Now, before you get all angry and say it's a ripoff of A New Hope, come on guys, do you honestly think they tried to pull a fast one on us? Seriously? They did an homage to A New Hope to remind you what Star Wars feels like. At the time, the last Star Wars movie was Revenge of the Sith, which came out in 2005. Force Awakens comes out in 2015, 10 whole years later. They wanted to prove that they know what Star Wars is. They wanted to give you a new hope that Star Wars could be good again. Even 10 years after the most recent movie, and 32 years since the last good Star Wars movie. I know that's throwing shade at Revenge of the Sith, but back then, most people did not like the movie. Let's face it, guys. There were not that many die-hard prequel lovers until the sequels came out. And I honestly really love this movie. It's not the greatest Star Wars movie, but it's just so fun. The characters are all likable, and it's just an all-around great introductory into the trilogy. Finn has a great arc, and quite frankly, so does Rey. It's a shame they liked it so much that they used it again in the second and third movie. Either way, the action is great, the story is straightforward and fun, and it's just overall solid. Force Awakens gets an 8 out of 10. Number 2, A New Hope. Alright guys, yes, you found out where I put Empire. Probably will skip 20 to 30 seconds just to hear me talk about it. No? You're still here? Alright, well hi, thanks for sticking around. A New Hope is just so good. It has everything I've ever wanted from a movie. A strong plot, strong characters, amazing music, and a good emotional center. There's like seriously nothing wrong with this movie. It blows my mind. I truly believe this movie is a 9.5 out of 10. And the only reason why it doesn't get that perfect 10 is because somehow Empire managed to make A New Hope even better. Major, what you doing? What you doing down here, buddy? You're panting really loud. I think the mic can pick it up. You're panting like extremely loud. Okay, yes, plop over. Thank you. Number 1, Empire Strikes Back. Let's be honest, I don't think many people have anything other than A New Hope or Empire as their number 1. And that's mostly because of just how great they are. Can we take a second to appreciate how the special effects look better than some modern movies? That's both impressive and honestly kind of sad. Either way, this movie is just amazing. It ends so well, and Luke's character really becomes a character in this movie, if that makes sense. He feels so real, and everyone knows the twist, but that's only because of how iconic it is. It's truly the best twist out there. I'd say it's tied with The Sixth Sense for my favorite movie twist of all time. This twist is truly genius. It not only makes sense as to why Luke is so powerful and a good star pilot, but it also connects the villain and main character. This is something a lot of movies don't do well enough nowadays. Connect the villain to the protagonist. Seriously guys, come on, it's not that hard to make a decent character. All you have to do is try. Empire gets a 10 out of 10 easily, and is hands down the best Star Wars movie. Thank you for watching this video. I put a lot of effort into the script and editing it, and it means a lot if you've watched this far. As I said earlier, this is my first big video. I'm guessing this video will be a good 45 minutes long, but it may be longer. I'm very proud of how this script turned out, and I hope to make more videos like this in the future. I hope you decide to watch Star Wars if you're new, and if not, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Once again, thank you for your support, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye! Also, check out my Twitch if you want to see me live playing Doom Eternal. I'm going to be uploading the gameplay as a whole Let's Play to YouTube within the following weeks, but if you want to see it live, please follow my Twitch. The link is in the description. Actually, the link never works. It's Roadrunner77_. I'll fix the link eventually, but please, if you really want to see me playing Doom Eternal on crack live, go ahead. And if you want a preview of what my Doom Eternal gameplay looks like, I have a video called Doom on Crack. That's pretty much all you need to know. But thank you so much again for listening to me, and I'll see you guys in the next video.